Hey guys, I have here one of my good friends. His name is Phillip. We went to the same high school and we actually became friends at a graduation party after high school. And I found out that he played lacrosse with Ryan. So I thought we could ask him a few questions about, playing a sport with deaf players. Why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself,
sure thing.
like where,
Yeah.
what school you go to?
Yeah, sounds good. So hi, my name is Phillip, as Ellen mentioned. I was born and raised in Irvine, California. I've lived here my whole life. As Ellen mentioned, we went to the same high school. I think we had one or two bio classes together, but we were never that close back then. And as Ellen mentioned, we kind of got to know each other at a graduation party of a friend's. So in high school, as Ellen mentioned, I played lacrosse. I started lacrosse my freshman year with no prior experience and stuck with it for 3.5 years.
That's a long time. That's
so
a pretty good amount.
I got to learn the sport. I got to know a lot of people on the team. Overall it was a lot of fun. Currently I'm a junior in college. I go to school in Maine, Brunswick, Maine. It's a very small town of about 20,000 people at a school called Bowdoin College. Overall, I love it there. In terms of what I'm studying, I'm currently studying computer science, but I actually went into school wanting to do psychology, then switched to neuroscience, then to econ, and then finally computer science.
Yeah.
So to any of you guys out there who don't know what you're majoring in, that's also totally fine. And
That was me too.
Exactly.
Because I went to school thinking I was going to be a bio major, but I changed to computer science as well. So
yeah,
we're actually both computer science majors.
right. And other than that, I'm also minoring in archaeology. That's just kind of something I do more for fun. In terms of other things I do on campus, I'm a coxswain on the men's team, men's crew team, and that's something I started at Bowdoin, something I very much love doing.
Going back to playing when you played lacrosse with Ryan and other deaf players, you said there was like 3 deaf players.
Yep. I would say there was at least always like 2 or 3.
2 or 3. How was that? Did everyone on your team know a little bit of sign language or know nothing?
Right.
Or how did you get past that language barrier?
Right. Great question. So I would say, I can't speak for everyone, but I would say the majority of us did not know any ASL. Some of us may have, because it was offered as a class at our school, so some of us may have had some experience, but I would say the majority of us did not have any experience, but it never really proved to be a problem in terms of communicating with each other, just because we always had an interpreter with our team, and there were about, I think, 3 interpreters who would kind of like take turns, but we all got to know them very well. They all kind of became part of the team and part of the family. They would be there every day for practice. They would be there every game, so we all got to know them very well. But overall, I would say there were never any like big communication problems.
So do you know any sign language at all from that?
I personally don't know much. I recently learned lacrosse.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, not really.
Yeah, lacrosse. But what about like your plays? Like that's I think one of the biggest questions people have that I find is that they always wonder, well, if he can't hear, how can he hear the ref? How can he hear if you're calling out plays verbally? Like how is he going to be aware of what's happening? So when the ref blows the whistle, how would the deaf players know?
And in answering all of those questions, I would say a lot of it kind of goes along with body language in that oftentimes, you didn't really have to talk. So for example, with plays and stuff, we would kind of have signals. So I remember our 2-2-2 formation would be signaled by the guy with the ball. He would hold up his arm with just the number 2. And then there was another play where we went like this. I forget what it was, but we did have hand signals for plays, and oftentimes you can motion to other players where to go using kind of pointing and stuff. And these kind of symbols and stuff and these motions were used by everyone on the team. It wasn't kind of something that we used only with the deaf or hard of hearing players. It was something that everyone on the team used. Also in terms of the refs and kind of knowing when they could blow the whistle and stuff, I would say that kind of goes along with the body language kind of stuff again, in that everyone's kind of in go mode, but once the ref blows the whistle, everyone kind of relaxes, kind of just stands up straight and kind of walks around. So I would say there were never any problems. There were, at times I remember some slight confusion with the refs, but it was never a problem. Overall, it went very smoothly. Yeah.
I guess that could be applicable to any other sport too. Like it could be universal for all
absolutely,
sports,
right. And I mean, as like I said before, the biggest thing I would say is just mainly the body language. And I mean, oftentimes you're running so hard, you're out of breath. You don't really want to be talking. So kind of just keeping your head on a swivel, having situational awareness, and kind of knowing what's going on. Kind of just helped everything go smoothly.
I remember you were telling me the story of how you met Ryan in the first place. Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So, yeah, this is the memory I kind of think of when I think of Ryan. And this memory is actually from the first time I met him. So, as I mentioned before, I started lacrosse in high school as a freshman, and prior I had like no experience. And I remember on kind of like during the first few weeks at one of these practices, all of a sudden all the upperclassmen were like, "Oh, like Ryan's here," and they kept referring to him as like the tank, which was obviously a little intimidating to a lot of us freshmen. But I remember like one of my first memories of him was him just completely like trucking another one of the players in a play like they were going for a ball. And it wasn't like a dirty illegal play or anything. It was totally legal. And I remember we all thought like, wow, like this guy's like the real deal. This guy's kind of a badass. And I mean, having to we got to all know him after that, and he was definitely kind of like the leader on the team. But he always kind of had that reputation for being a tank. He dealt out hits. He took hits. I mean, he was very much an integral part of the team. He was on the first line. A lot of the games, the coach would put him in very integral parts and kind of positions. For example, the X, which is like right behind the goal, he'd be doing a lot of stuff, making big plays, scoring goals. Very much a player we all looked up to.
Yeah. I think he became team captain at his senior year.
Yep. There's never really a distinction between like them and like the rest of the players or anything. We were very much a homogenous unit, and they very much were, like, some of them were the best players on the team. Ryan, for example, was always leading the team on the first line. Another player I remember, his name was Josh Diaz. He kind of stuck with me. I mean, I haven't talked to this guy in 3-4 years, but I still remember him just because he always brought his A game to practice no matter what. He had kind of like the next level of hustle, and I mean, I believe he started out brand new just like I did.
Yeah, he did.
Right, and I mean, there is a pretty steep learning curve, and in the beginning it's hard to like kind of go up against like the more experienced players, but I remember he would always go for the ball with everything he had, always gave it all he had, and I would say, like, as I said before, there really was no distinction, and everything went very smoothly, and I think that's for like a variety of reasons, thanks to like the great interpreters, but also kind of the bonding between the team and being able to understand each other, not only through like kind of vocal or just like traditional language, but also knowing kind of body language, learning the plays, and learning to like anticipate what people were gonna do on the field in a way. But I would say like I would say no distinction. Some of the best players, like I said, on the team were definitely hard of hearing. Yep.
A lot of our viewers, I know, are interested in becoming interpreters. Like, how is it there's stuff flying everywhere. What was the dynamic of the interpreter with all the players, including yourself, not only the deaf players?
Right. So as I mentioned before, I would say they very much became a part of the team, part of the family. Like I said, they were there at every practice, they were there at every game, whether it was like raining and like almost lightning going on, like they were there no matter what. And I think everyone very much respected that, of course. And I mean, the interpreters would typically know all of our names, and we would like, of course, know their names, and we in a way almost became friends. Sometimes they would like explain things that the coaches would say, so like plays and stuff, and explaining drills.
Do you want me to teach you a few signs?
Yeah, sure. How do you say Maine?
Maine?
Yeah, like the state.
I don't know the sign for that, actually. I wish Ryan was here because he probably would know.
Right.
But I just spell it out.
Okay.
And you know how to spell, right? You don't know how to spell?
I have zero experience.
So M. Here, I'll just...
Okay.
So M is your three humps.
Okay. Okay, got it.
M. A.
A is just like this?
Yeah, so it looks kind of like an A. I.
Okay, so...
Yeah, just your pinky.
Just my pinky.
Just your pinky.
Okay, just my pinky.
N. So it's like an M, but with two humps. And E.
E.
Kind of like a
right.
sawing from it.
Okay.
E. So M.
M-A-I-N-E.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. Do you want to explain to the viewers what happened?
What? Oh, that. Okay, yeah. We tried to film, and we filmed the whole thing. It was perfect. It was like, okay, this interview is really good. And then I checked the camera, and it wasn't even on the whole time. So we were sitting here talking to my phone camera for, I don't know, a good like 10 minutes. Yeah, and it wasn't even recording. Or recording?
Hopefully it's recording this time.
I think it is. So.
I think
Should we check it?
No, it should be okay. We're too late now.
Okay. Alright, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for answering some questions. That was fun. It is cold.
It's pretty chill.
Are you ready to go?
Yep.
Okay.